All right, guys, welcome aboard. We Heavy Metal Truckers here, and well, most of us anyway.
Oh, geez. No, I'm just kidding.
Basically, I mean, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, Frosty is currently unable to join us just because of some surprise scheduling ordeals on my end. I was able to do some stuff. We're going to continue with Frosty and recording, and for some other stuff we have planned. But in this today, we are checking out the latest. Actually, I don't think it's the latest anymore because I think some other singles have come out since.
They might have, but it was their first one. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it was their first one, and we're typically about a month behind, to be honest. So this is Blue Medusa, Checkmate, one of the projects of Alyssa Whitelow's since leaving Arch Enemy. And yeah, let's see what it's about, and depending on, we may check out another single, if not just the album at this point. I mean, I'm under the assumption that a new album's coming out.
Yeah, I don't think anything's been announced yet, but I would.
Yeah, but we're all pretty certain.
I would imagine.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna go ahead and check out Checkmate at a later date. We'll check out the other single that I think came out, because guys, we can't keep up with this shit. There's new singles getting released every other fucking day, it feels like, and it's like our backlog is like getting longer and longer and longer, and it's like, dude, just come out with fucking
long already.
Come out with fucking albums rather than all these singles. Like, I understand we're in the era of singles, but for fuck's sake, we can't. Yeah, it's getting a little wild. But anyway, I digress. Let's just get to it. I'll say one thing from a mixing perspective. Holy hell! Like, you may not have caught it because like I was catching hints of it, and then like whenever I focused on it, I could really hear it. They were smacking the hell out of that bass with some kind of compressor. Like, holy shit!
No, I didn't.
Because like I
trying to play everything as a whole.
Yeah, and I was too, but it's like I could really like there was some kind of like wafting sound that will occur, especially like within some EDM, to where it's like you almost have like a whopping sound whenever it comes to a low end. I was beginning to hear that, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, holy shit, they're smacking the hell out of that bass, like a hard limiter or brick wall limiter. I don't know. Again, I don't know what the mixing process was. It's just from what I could hear on it. And yeah, YouTube compression exists, but it's not as massive and audibly changing as much as people may say, unless you're listening to all this on a system where you can actually hear things incredibly transparently, and like you'd have to be really listening in to discern between YouTube compression and FLAC, full lossless audio compression. Or no, oh god, audiophiles are gonna hate me for that one. Full lossless audio codec. My bad. Please don't come out with me with pitchforks, please. Anyways, your thoughts?
I'll start by saying that oddly, this was almost exactly what I was expecting it to be. For me, anyway.
I was going to say, I didn't really know what to expect. In comparison to that first single we heard whenever she had split off from Arch Enemy.
Yeah, her solo song was, I'll go ahead and say, I enjoyed it more than this one. Not saying that this was bad.
Yeah.
The biggest issue I had with this song, and I'll be the first to say I do really enjoy Alyssa's clean vocals. But here, at least for the choruses, it didn't work for me. Now, when she did it in the verses with that kind of softer tone or whatever, that was fine. But when she came in the verses, I don't know, it just...
Was it so much of that it was almost like because the heavier style vocals within more of the extreme vocal range of doing the screaming and doing all the more, I don't know the best way to say it, but more of the scream style vocals, which to me are way heavier, or a good bit heavier than we heard doing in Arch Enemy, or at least her time in Arch Enemy, I'll say that much. Was it just almost like that vast departure from that into what she was doing in the cleans that almost was a bit shell-shocking?
Maybe, but I've heard bands do it where it didn't, or vocals do that where it didn't affect me. I think it was more the feel of for me anyway, the feel of the song up to that point.
Okay,
like when she went to the cleans and the song and to me, like the whole song, the feel of the song changed.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, whenever I begin to speak on this more, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of worried for the album. I'm simply gonna say that.
And not all of it was necessarily the fact that she did cleans. I mean, even the instruments, the feel of the instruments changed a little bit.
There were some
at least
variations.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily mean that in terms of like tempo changes or anything. I'm just talking about like it was a lot cleaner, a lot, whereas before it was a little more, chuggy or whatever you want to call it. Right.
Yeah.
Which maybe if they had done some sort of a pre-chorus where it would have bridged it a little better.
I was about to say some type of pre-chorus.
Yeah, but that was really the only issue I had with the song. Like I said, when she did her cleans and the verses, or whatever, those were fine. They fit for me. I didn't mind them at all.
Yeah.
And her harshes sounded good. Like you said, they were a little more than what aggressive, I guess you could say, than what she was doing with.
Yeah, they were definitely more aggressive
for the most part.
Which is a pleasant surprise, considering I'm like, yes, you did it on Arch Enemy's last album, but it's like, where was this whenever, like, the first two albums when you were with Arch Enemy? Like, where was that? Like, because it's like,
right.
In all fairness, like, people may crucify me for this as well, but it's like once Angela left and we knew Arch Enemy or most of us knew Arch Enemy as that. I mean, there was, of course, the dude that was before Angela, but whenever she came on board, they sounded so goddamn modern. It was like to me, it was almost a completely different group, and I didn't like it. And then all of a sudden, their last album, I'm like, damn, where were you like
Yeah,
2 records
their
ago?
last album was good.
And
Yeah,
then
their
she
last
does
album
it
was
on
good,
this.
yeah, she did it here too. Yeah, I mean, really, like I said, that was my only complaint was I don't know, did that. Not that the chorus was bad, like the chorus itself was fine.
Yeah.
But just juxtaposed with everything else, I don't know, it felt weird for me.
And again, I think my worry is going to correlate to this.
It could. I mean, I'm still curious to see what else, because this is just one song. You're not going to be able to really tell much from one song. So, but we'll see.
I don't know. From what I saw, I don't want it to be this way, but unfortunately, these days I have preconceived notions. So I guess I'll go ahead and say it in this here. The thing that worries me most, and you're gonna know almost exactly what I mean when I say this, is that I don't know her name, but guitarist on the right with the more natural looking guitar, it was an 8-string. That worries the fuck out of me.
And I wasn't even paying attention.
Well, because I saw that the fretboard was even, because like I'm used to a 7-string fretboard. I've got one. Like, so it takes someone. Granted, I mean, most people are getting more apt to be able to see the differences these days, but especially back then, it's like you had to either be in a guitarist or have played them to really be able to see even like a quarter or less than half of an inch difference from like 6 feet away from a camera. But it's like you can start to tell that's not a 6-string or that's not a 7-string, and I'm like, what the fuck? God, she's got an 8-string. What that tells me is there's just 2 possibilities. Either one, that guitarist came from the world of gent, or she has that guitar being used in other material that could be gent related, and or that modern metal where they incorporate 8-string into it, and I'm like, please, for the love of the gods, don't go gent, please. I was so hopeful we were starting to go away from that, and then I see that and I'm like, please don't.
There's a lot of gent fans out there, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere. But
there is, and to their own respect, if it's what you like, amazing. Because even though we have said since the beginning of this channel, gent is the evolution of new metal that we never asked for. There are people that enjoy it. It sells so great. There's still other groups that we can enjoy. They're a bit more 6-string, maybe 7-string that are still holding the torch of Korn or whatnot, but like anytime I see an 8-string, I'm like, oh no.
Thankfully, it wasn't really there in this song. So
here's the problem, because those switch ups like that, and I was hearing it sometimes within the guitars during everything, just because I can hear this kind of thing, is 2 of the very common aspects within metalcore or metal that has aspects of gent is 2 things. One, whenever you're playing the note, the endings are abrupt, or as in the world of guitar, whatever, it's tight. So whenever people are like, they played this really tight, it's just that note and ends, that note end, note end, note end, note end, and it gets annoying to me, because it's like I want to hear it ring out and just sustain rather than just and like it annoys the fuck out of me. And like I was hearing a little bit of that tightness within the track, but also the various switch ups and like those kind of the transitions that are not all that smooth for what we would classify as smooth. That's another thing that I've noticed is notorious in gent, and I don't care for it. However, I'll just say I am skeptically hopeful, because what we heard here was not bad. It was if we take into consideration what modern metal currently is in its current state, this is not bad. And quite frankly, modern metal is thankfully kind of stepping backwards back into early Y2K, whenever they were still like aggressive, and we're kind of slowly starting to get back to that aggressiveness, because thankfully gent got everywhere and people were finally like, you know what, we've done this a lot, let's kind of change it up. And they're doing something different is starting to seem to me as to go back to what we were doing. So I'm hopeful, skeptically. But as this was, yeah, as this was, it wasn't bad. And it's like, yes, I would like to hear more because honestly, I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was. I'm not going to lie. Just whenever an artist splits off from a group and it's like, hey, I'm going to grab these people and we're going to create another group, it is the most modern mashup of fuckery that I could imagine. And it's like, I'm like, oh, great. So this is what we have to look forward to. And they only last, what, 2 or 3 years, maybe 4, and they drop off the face of the earth. So hopefully they have enough momentum to carry forward. Hopefully Alyssa gained enough of a fan base through Arch Enemy and the remaining fan base of the Agonist to be able to carry through with this and be able to make something that's great for herself. I really do hope that for her. Because, I mean, she's a great artist. She really is. But, yeah, guys, that was our perspective. I know my part was fucking drawn out, but these are honest thoughts. So, oh well. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this. Hopefully you were entertained, and I probably pissed you off with a bunch of old man yelling at clouds, but hey, we're getting to that age, I guess. But anywho, until next time, whether musically, lyrically, or literally, keep rolling heavy.